Okay, let's start nine principles of BRSR. Okay, so we are going to talk about this nine principle. First principle, first four principle. It is very easy to remember with this trick. Okay, that is eat safe and eat well with interest. So whatever you are eating, eat with interest. Okay, it should be safe food, and second, you should eat well and you should eat with the interest. Just remember this line, okay? Eat. So first, eat stands for ethics, accountability and transparency. That is EAT. So what is ethics, transparency and accountability? The first principle is saying that the business decisions that you take in an organization should be open and accessible to the interested party. So who are the interested party? Can be a stakeholders, anybody. Okay, so it should be open to the interested party. So that is the first thing. Now, how can you remember the points? It is ethics, transparency, accountability. Ethics, for ethics, there is one point. What is that? Whatever the policies, procedures, practices is there. Now, the ethics should not be compromised. Okay, the governing structure should be in such a way that your ethics is not compromised. That is your first point. Second point is transparent. Okay, second is transparent. Two things. Okay, with respect to transparency, you have to remember 2 points. One, your policies, procedures and practices should always be made available to the stakeholders. Stakeholders should know that what policy you are following, what is your procedure, practices, etc. And in case if you have any adverse effects, please transparently disclose that, right? So transparency, 2 points. First of all, be transparent. If you have adverse effect, you disclose that also, right? Last one is accountability. With respect to accountability, you have to accountable for yourself and also for the others. What is your yourself? It is in your value chain. You have to encourage the principles of this BRSR principle. And if anyone outside your value chain, if they are violating the principle, then also you must be proactively respond to that violations. Okay, violations like this includes outsider, in the sense it includes subcontractor, distributor, supplier, etc. So the first principle is very easy, that is you have to eat. What is eat? Ethics, accountability and transparency. For ethics, ethics should not be compromised. Transparency, be transparent, and if there is an adverse effect, you just disclose that. And accountability, you have to be accountable for self and also for the outsiders, right? Next, eat safe, right? So safe and sustainable goods and services. What is the safe and sustainable goods and services? So for getting the safe and sustainable goods and services, we are going for Met Plus. What is this Met Plus? We'll go there. But before that, the entity should make sure that whatever their goods, services and operation, it should give a better life for the consumers and end user. Whoever is using, they have to feel safe and sustainable goods should be provided to them. Okay, we have to go to Met Plus, correct? So what is the Met Plus? So M stands for entity should take measure that reduces the over exploitation. So what is the measure you have to take? That you should not over exploit the natural resources. So natural resources, if any points is relating to natural resources, you can relate the 3R points. What is reduce, reuse, recycle? Okay, so encourage the method of reduce, reuse, recycle. Met Plus. So M stands for you have to take the measure for reducing the exploitation of natural resources, right? And you have to educate and train how to use the product, okay? And you have to make aware the clients about their rights. And D stands for basically whenever you are designing the product, okay, designing the product, the production methods and your technology should be in such a way that you have to minimize the usage of the resources, okay, and you should make it sustainable. So what is this point? Number 2, safe and sustainable goods and services, such that you have to go to Met Plus. So Met Plus, M stands for you have to take measures like reducing the exploitation of natural resources, so that you have to reduce, reuse and recycle. E stands for you have to educate your clients, okay, and make aware your customers and their rights. And D stands for whenever you are designing the product, you should design in such a way that you are going to minimize the use of resources. This is your second principle. Next, third principle I'm skipping as of now, will cover it at the later point. Okay. Fourth principle, so we were talking about eat safe and well. Okay, third principle is well. Now with interest is the fourth principle, right? So fourth principle, what is the interest? So respect for the stakeholders interest and responsiveness. Okay, so who is going to check this? CBI. So principle number 4, CBI is going to come. Okay, CBI. What CBI? Now the concept of interested party or stakeholder to a business as a point of discussion in the all the regulatory and voluntary systems, right? Okay, here it is related to quality, environment, occupational health, safety of the workers. So everything you have to be concerned. First point, what is the essence of core element? Here they are saying if the entity first of all should be transparent, okay, and they have to communicate to the stakeholder if there is any impact, okay, if there is any impact of their operation and the business decision, they have to inform, okay, to the stakeholders. Now the policies decision impact, it has to be informed to the stakeholders with no ambiguity, and it should be transparently disclosed, right? So first of all, the point is disclosure, whatever the impact and the decisions, okay, impact of their operation, business decision, it has to be disclosed properly. See, the next point is, so first we discussed I. I is nothing but you have to inform. Okay, C stands for context. The entity have to systematically determine the context of their operation, so they have to identify what is the need, okay, of the stakeholders. So workers need safety, customer needs quality, right? So you have to identify that. Next, B. B stands for benefits. What is the, whenever there is a benefit in an organization, it has to be shared with the stakeholders. Okay, say for example, if you get more benefits, more profit, fair wages have to be given to the workers, good products have to be given to the customers. So these are the points you have to remember. Okay, so CBI, fourth principle is respect for the stakeholders interest and responsiveness. So CBI is coming into picture. First of all, you have to inform. B stands for you have to share the benefits, and C is nothing but the you have to determine the context of the operation, and you have to identify who is your interested parties. Done. Principle number 5. So principle number 5, respect and promote the human rights. Okay. So number 5, we will remember as a human, HUMAN, totally 5 letters are there. So here also we are going for 5 letters, human, right? Human rights is very important, right? So whenever there is a violence or belligerent, what is this, aggressive issues, okay, whatever it is faced, whether directly or indirectly, everything will be dealt in this principle. So first of all, what they are saying, so whenever you have to understand as an entity, you have to understand the human rights and the way in which the human rights will be violated. So this is the correct one. You have to know what are the human rights we have to follow, okay, and what are the ways by which it will be violated. Human rights can be violated, so both you have to understand, right? That is your first point, you have to understand. So for this I will give a clue trick, like human, in Tamil we will say for life, okay, for Jeevan we will say Uir. You just remember UIR, Uir, okay. So human, they will have, will say Uir or Uir. This is one thing very connected, okay, very connectively we can remember. So I just made this. If you can remember as such, then okay. I stands for integrate. So first of all, you understood what are the human rights, what is human rights, how it will be violated. After understanding, now what you are going to do, you are going to integrate that into your policies, procedures, practices, right? Now, business should recognize and respect the human rights for all the relevant stakeholders, that is within the workplace, beyond the workplace, including communities, customers. They have to give the human rights. Okay, they have to recognize and respect in all the aspects, right? So recognize and respect, very simple. Fifth principle, respect and promote human rights. Human, HUMAN, 5 words, 5 letters, okay. And then fifth principle, what they are saying, human is going to have UIR, okay, UIR, UIR. U stands for understand, integrate, recognize. First of all, you are going to understand the human rights, okay, how it can be violated. Then you have to integrate that into your policies, and you have to recognize and respect those policies. Even beyond the workplace, you have to recognize and respect. This is your fifth principle. Next, I am leaving sixth principle, okay. Now going on to seventh principle. Seventh principle is influence on policy and regulatory policy. Influence on public and regulatory policy. So first, you have to understand that business can influence the government while making policies, etc. So influence should not be as such like manipulation. Okay, influence is different, but manipulation is different. So it should not become as a manipulation. So whenever the policy formulation or policy advocacy is being made, what is policy formulation? You are formulating some policy, making a policy. What is policy advocacy? That you are making some improvements over or changes to the policy, okay. So the core element should be holistically met. Holistically in the sense fully, okay, completely. It has to be met when the organization is going ahead with the policy formulation and advocacy. And it should not be done in an isolation, that you have to consider the trade groups, industry chambers. It should not be for the benefit of one organization. No, one organization, no. Okay, it should be benefit of the whole industry. Okay, you have to use the trade groups, industries whenever you are making the policy. And C stands for, last C is that whenever you are going for policy advocacy, the fair competition, you have to encourage the fair competition and prevents the human right abuses. Okay, so what is this? 7 lakh is the CTC. What is a clue trick here is C stands for whenever you are going for core elements, okay, it has to be met holistically. That is your first C. Second C is T. T stands for trade groups, involve trade groups. And last C is your fair competition, okay. So whenever you are doing this, it will encourage the fair competition. So what is this 7 lakh? So we can easily remember 7 lakh means principal 7. 7 lakh is your CTC. CTC in the salary package they will say like 7 lakh is your CTC. So this is the way I used to remember. Done? Okay. Next point. Okay, let's cover the principle number 3. Okay, principle number 3, eat safe and well with interest, right? So well is the third one. What is the well? Promote well-being of all the employees, including those in the value chain. Now we are going to take some initiative that the entity should take for employees' benefit. It is for the benefit of the employees. Okay, how to remember this? Okay, remembering this is very important. See here, there are 3 things we are going to concern about. Okay, we have to be concerned about. One is the dignity, health and well-being. First we are going to see about the dignity. In dignity you are going to have 2 points. So the entity should ensure they are in compliance with the regulatory requirement. So first of all, regulatory requirement compliance is there or not. That is the one thing they have to ensure. And second one is that they have to respect the dignity of the employee. That is, they should not restrict the employees from participating in the unions, association, etc. They should not restrict the freedom of union, association, and other participatory methods. So these are the 2 points with related to dignity. Okay, dignity related points done. Now we are going to well-being. Okay, so for well-being, you have to remember 5 points. Well-being. First of all, what is mean by well-being? Well-being means you should prevent all kind of unwanted labors like child labor, bonded labor. It means that you are treating the employees well. Okay, so first point is well-being, that point. And second is that work life balance. Okay, you should have the work life balance. Okay, if you have work life balance, then what you should do, you have to timely pay the wages and compensation to your workers, and that wages should be in such a way that it should meet their living wages. Okay, it has to be their living wages. They have to take care of their basic necessity. Okay, basic needs, basic security should be provided to the employees. So, and last one, not only the wages but also the training and the career development should also be provided to those employees. Okay, workforce. These are the 5 points about the well-being. First one, you have to prevent the child labor, bonded labor, etc. Second one is your work-life balance, and you should pay a living wages, okay, and the wages should be paid on time, and you should also provide the training and career development. This is your well-being point. And last one is your health. With respect to health, there is 2 points. Okay, one is the mental health, and both are related to mental health. Okay, both are related to mental health. So the workplace should be in such a way, it should be safe, comfort, and hygiene. Okay, so here there is a point. See here, it should be safe, hygiene, and comfortable for the people to work for the long duration, and it should also be free of harassments and violence. Okay, it should be free of harassments and violence. So these are the points related to your principle number 3. So with related to dignity, 2 points, with related to health, mental health, 2 points, and with related to well-being, okay, we have 5 points. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 points done. Next, now we are entering into principle number 6. Okay, so already done with principle number 5 6 sorry 4 5. Now entering into principle 6. So principle 6 is protection and restoration of environment. So here we are going to be concerned about the environment. What they are saying, we can remember like MNOP. So how will you remember this point is, our clue trick is going to be a 6 alphabets. Okay, wow. What is it? A, B, C, M, N, O together. Okay, and P. Right. So A stands for, so whenever you are in the society, as a society, you have to look out for the avenues. Okay, the company have to look out for the avenues to improve their performance towards the environmental responsibility. So you have to look for the avenues, and first look out for the avenues, next go for the best industry practices. Okay, you adopt like reduce, reuse, recycle, you go for reduce, reuse, recycle methods. Okay, that is your B point, best industry practices. What is the C point? The entity should contribute to their climate change resilience. Okay, in line with, so they are giving in line with the India's commitment, etc. You just at least try to write that the entity should contribute to the climate change resilience. Okay, A, B, C. Next, M point. What is M point? You have to take measure. Okay, the entity should have to measure their performance relating to the prevention of pollution. So they should know how much pollution they are creating, how much destruction of the forest has been made by the company, or energy use has been done. So everything they have to measure. And NO, What is NO? N stands for natural resources and man-made resources in an optimal manner. Okay, so you have to be very sure that you are using the natural and the man-made resources in the optimal manner. And last P, the entities should have the policies, procedures and practices to assess and rectify if there is any impact. Okay, if there is any impact in the environment, then it should have the policies, procedures and practices to assess and rectify that impact, right? So this is how we have completed the protection and restoration of environment. Here we have 6 points, okay, 6 alphabets: A, B, C, M, N, O, P. A stands for look out for avenues, go for best industry practices. C stands for climate change responsibility. M stands for you have to take the measure, and then N stands for natural resources should be used in the optimal manner, and P stands for policy, procedures and practices. Okay, you should have such that you can rectify the impact on the environment, impact to the environment, right? The last one. So for this already I have released one shorts, okay, but I'm giving you a overview here also. Principle number 9, provide value to the customers in a responsible manner. Here you are going to provide goods and services, products and services to the customer, that is in exchange of what? In exchange of some profits. Okay, first point, whenever you are dealing with the value to the customers, so here we can remember like ninth principle PVR. Okay, so 9, you will put 9 like this, you will write PVR like this. Okay, so 9 PVR, provide value to the customers in a responsible manner. So first point, so you are going to advertise. Whenever you are advertising, don't advertise the misleading or confusing information. Don't do that. Second one, so first you are advertising. Before advertising, you have to conceptualize, design and market the products, right? So you should not prevent the freedom of choice and fair competition. It should not be done. And so whenever there is a negative impact, try to reduce the negative impact. Okay, your products and services should not have a negative impact. If it is having the adverse impact, then kindly disclose it. Okay, disclose accurately whatever the impact on the user, planet, society, you just disclose it. Then if you are providing some essential goods and services, okay, then provide the universal access. Next, then you just inform the customers how to use the goods. Okay, what is their usage, how to reuse, recycle, how to dispose it. You just make them aware of it. And if there any grievance, okay, grievance redressal mechanism should be there and feedback system should be there. Okay, so you also make sure that whether you have the feedback system and grievance redressal mechanism is there or not. And finally, if you have the data of the customers, kindly have the privacy of the data. Okay, maintain the privacy of the data. So privacy is very important. So here for ninth one, you just make it as a four points. First 4 will be related to the advertising and the impact. Okay, and other 4 will be related to the essential goods, the data, how to use the goods, how to dispose the goods. Okay, and then the redressal mechanism and the feedback system, so it will be related to that. Okay, principle number 8, promote inclusive growth and equitable development. So this is saying that profit should not come at cost of the people. So you have to give attention to the people, especially for those marginalized communities. They will be giving assistance. Okay, well, marginalized community means a very backward people, we can say, right? So first is that the core elements of the eighth principles are, there are six elements. Okay, first thing is they are saying that what is the impact. Okay, entity should have systems in place to identify what are the impact you have created on the social, cultural and economic aspects. So in this aspect, see, for example, if you are setting up a factory, what it is doing. Okay, so that is the first thing. So now you have set up a factory, so example it is. Okay, now what is the you just take the review, you measure and track the adverse impact. So first of all, what is the impact, and just see is there any adverse impact is there or not. Okay, you just review, measure and track that impact. Okay, next you have to help the marginalized community. You have to put efforts to bring up the products, technologies and business concerns that helps in the marginalized communities. So these are the 3 points. First, you are putting a factory. Okay, so because of that factory, what is the impact? If there is a negative impact or adverse impact, you have to review, measure and track the adverse impact of those activities. And the third point is that you just take efforts to bring the product, technology, business, and you also help your marginalized communities. Next, now you have some uh, activities. Okay, that should align with your CSR activities. Whatever you are doing, align your local needs with respect to the CSR activities. Okay, and avoid displacement. See, if you are going to bring some factory, you are going to dislocate the people. From there you are going to locate the people, I mean relocate the people. Okay, so you don't do that. Okay, so the entity should take care that the business induced displacement or relocation of the community, go from here to somewhere else. Don't do that. Try to avoid the displacement. Okay, that is the fifth point. And then you also respect the traditional and intellectual knowledge. If there is a traditional and intellectual knowledge, try to respect it. Okay, you have to respect, and the effort should be made to ensure that the benefits derived from the knowledge, okay, from their knowledge are shared equitably. Whatever the benefits you have received, that should be shared with them equitably. Okay, so this is a promote inclusive growth and equitable development. That is, every people should be treated equally, and whatever the growth should be shared as such. Okay, so with this I have completed the all the 9 principle exhaustively. The explanation has been given. If you have any doubt, you can mail me or you can leave it in the comment to clarify further. Okay, so we'll meet you in the next video very soon. All the best for your upcoming exams. Do well, be consistent. Okay, thank you guys, see you.